forgot. Window. Everybody sees a black screen, and now they don't see a black screen. Forgot to switch Discord to 4 of us to 3 of us. Welcome everybody to that time of the month where it's time to discuss all the bullshit going down with the season.
One.
So yeah, this is the Popcast predictions. Hang on, there's the logo. Bring that over there. Popcast predictions for November, including a bit of state of the race and analysis of nominations and a highly entertaining Adam Sandler speech, amongst other things from the Gotham Awards. So yeah, hello everybody, I'm Ashley, your host and person keeping on the chats to some extent. Joining me as ever is AJ.
Yes.
And Owen.
Yeah, I'm back after a month. Sorry about last month, everyone. I didn't want to literally have to phone it in, but when you have a chance to see Till and Tar in the same day, you kind of take it.
Yeah. That's fair.
One of which I was happy with. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
So, briefly going through some of the chat stuff at the start, because I noticed Josephine does mention the Gotham stuff. Josephine says, today I've watched Leave Her to Heaven. You're planning ahead, Josephine. Incredible film, Joan Crawford, iconic in Mildred Pierce, but I'd have personally given Gene Tierney the Oscar. And then randomly, Mr. Bean would make a great host. I'm trying to work out whether that's related to He's trying to work out what's Leave Her to Heaven related, or just generally like Mr. Bean needs to host instead of Jimmy Kimmel. I'll leave it there.
Fun fact, I got called Mr. Bean when I was my character at Horror Nights this year. Several times. Don't look a bit like Mr. Bean.
So yeah, Josephine brings up, I guess, the first thing we can talk about regarding state of a race discussion.
Gotham.
The Gotham Awards from last night. That speech with Adam Sandler was pretty damn good. And then also there was the recognition for Sidney Poitier and his contributions, which was pretty good as well. It was also weird seeing Ben Whishaw on the stage accepting his award for appearance as Adam Kay in Adam Kay's adaptation of his own book, This Is Gonna Hurt. Admittedly, that was TV stuff, but it's good to see him there. And then the only 8 awards that come from Gotham, because they have amalgamated the leading and supporting performances together, which I think this time is actually 5 men and 5 women. They did, I think, gender split them, which we'll get to with the Spirit. So yeah, supporting performance went to Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere, which was a really damn good speech. That might be good enough a speech to actually carry him through the race, possibly. It was that well.
I wanted to, but I still haven't actually watched any of the clips yet.
I've heard a lot of good things about it, especially along with the Adam Sandler one as well. And then, interestingly, for outstanding lead, they gave it to Daniel Debweiler for Till.
I fully support this win.
It's good to see that. Like, this probably means that she's definitely in the race, I would say.
She deserves to be. That performance is amazing.
Mm-hmm. For breakthrough, we had Gracia Filipovic for Marina. Breakthrough director went to Charlotte Wells for After Sun. So I think there's at least a chance for it to do well in the spirits. Whether this carries over to the Oscars, we'll see. That's possible, but I wouldn't say it's a definite. Happening took Best International Feature, which I'm trying to remember if that is actually in the submissions.
Banshees got robbed.
List of submissions to the 95th. There we go. I'm just checking to see whether that actually is France's entry. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to see Corsage getting the love that it has, which means that it's just random win at the London Film Festival actually meant something. Wait, what language is happening? French.
Well,
oh, so it isn't actually even the French submission. Great. That's a good sign.
The thing to also point out about Gotham while we're at it is that normally we would say, like, oh, it's Gotham, this doesn't really mean much. Like when we say Daniel Deadweiler's like really in the race now. In any other like time, I would say Gotham wouldn't decide that. But when you look at what her competition was, all the competition was here. So that's
the thing. Pretty much.
Well, there's one person that wasn't there. I know. There's one person that wasn't there. That's definitely part of her competition.
I'm trying to double check on the list.
You're talking about Robbie, aren't you?
I'm talking about Michelle Williams.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Oh.
Loosely Robbie, but yeah, I'm mainly talking about Michelle Williams.
Oh, which, considering some of the stuff I've heard about that performance,
a great performance. Don't believe what you hear until you watch the movie.
Well, I'll find out in February. Thanks, Universal, you twat. Then sort of also an interesting one. Despite all the praise it has had previously, all the Beauty and the Bloodshed didn't get Best Documentary Feature. Instead, it went to All That Breathes.
That's interesting.
Well, when you got a poster of somebody staring at a bird, I don't know what's happening. And then on the other fronts, screenplay went to Tar for Todd Field.
James Gray got robbed. Go see Armageddon Time if you get a chance. If you can find it before it leaves theaters, if it hasn't already.
It already did. After 1 week, because,
It did.
Wakanda. Oh, hang on. Was it Wakanda or was it Matilda in the UK? Or both? And then Everything Everywhere All at Once getting Best Feature. Which from the list, I'd probably say it was a toss-up possibly between that and After Sun. I would say.
Yeah, I can't go for anything that's nominated because I haven't seen anything except for that one, and I'm definitely not going for that for any reason. No, I saw Tar. Yeah, I wouldn't go for either one of those. So probably by process of elimination, I would have to go with After Sun, even though I've not seen it.
And then Josephine brings up sort of when we get into the the next bit of covering the independent spirits. I don't want to sound unprogressive, but do you think the genderless acting categories could possibly reduce winning chances of contenders? For instance, Daniel Debweiler winning over Brendan Fraser and Ke Huy Quan winning supporting over Jesse Buckley. Well, then we get to the problem that I think the independent spirits have. I don't really have that much of an issue with what Gotham did. And that they took the 5 best male and the 5 best female and combined it.
They're just putting the performances up. It doesn't matter if it's male or female or not. They're just putting the best performances up. If it's male, great. If it's female, great. Just freaking do 10 and be done with it. I'm sick of this crap.
Yeah, the thing that's weird to me, or the thing that's like kind of makes this difficult as far as like predictions go, is it's kind of hard to tell who got a boost because of the split and leading at the spirits was 8-2 for women, and then supporting was 7-3 for the dudes.
Yeah.
So it's like those of the majority that got in for their category, we don't know how far up or down they are.
I would say if they beat everybody else that would have been in contention in their category, I feel like they would be higher up because they have now got a little bit of a step up now because of getting nominated with a field of all of the opposite gender.
And I guess the question I had was Russell and Rylance getting in for Bones and All, where it's like, it feels like it's good for them because Bones and All got into picture, which is only 5 slots. But you look at that and it's like, would Russell and Rylance have been in with 5? We don't know.
No.
And then,
because if you want to use the Spirit Awards for a bit of a jumping off point for some of the choices we're going to make in this video, we could be way off, or we could not be.
I hope we're way off.
The big question I was going to ask from it is like, is Taylor's performance better than Chalamet's?
Yes. She has more to do. I think she has more to do overall, the way she has to deal with everything.
It's kind of hard to compare because they both have approaches to what's going on completely. Like, it's 2 completely different performances, despite the fact that they attract.
Right. That's
hard to say. Because hers is much more. Well, I would say hers is much more internal, and his is much more external. But he's got kind of both going on. So I would say actually Chalamet has more to do showy wise. But
definitely more showy. But
Russell needed to focus a lot more on nuances. So
I think Russell is a lot more emotional until we get to the end, and then Chalamet is just as emotional, if not more so.
Yeah.
You know and now you understand what I said about Mark Rylance, creepy.com.
and just like you, I was the only one in the theater.
Of course.
So it was even creepier. It's like that first scene where she's kind of out of frame and he's just talking. It's like, I feel like Mark Rylance is talking to me, and I wish he would stop.
I guess
yes,
that's why it's disappearing.
100% yes.
I guess that's why it's disappearing from cinemas over here after 1 week. Then again, so she said, which is annoying.
Ridiculous.
But the weird thing is, in its place in some cinemas is a resurgence of Banshees. And at least in my local, it seems to be a resurgence of Woman King.
Yeah, it looks like Woman King's coming back over here in the States, too.
And then
Woman King and re-release of Maverick.
Yeah, in a weird sort of, oh, do you want Tom Cruise for Christmas? We're sticking Maverick in the week before Avatar.
What I'm afraid of is that I desperately want to see Banshees in a theater.
You need to.
I was a little relieved to see that it's getting a physical release on December 20th.
Oh,
so,
okay.
regardless, no matter what, I'll see it before the year's over. But I really want to see it in a theater. I just really wish that fucking possibility would come to me. But
AJ, if you had a way to see it with a full theater, I would recommend that. But I have a feeling where you are, unless you go to our old theater back in the long, long ago in the way before time, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I said the theater I'm counting on eventually getting is the theater where I had to see 3 Billboards and 7 Psychopaths. That would make sense.
Okay.
I mean,
But it's like nowhere on their schedule either.
It wasn't a
so
full
I don't know.
theater, but there was people other than me and my dad in for both
Oh.
Banshees and Living and whatever.
So I just found out today, as of the bookings that I saw come across my AMC app, A List. I love it. I do have access to Empire of Light now. I'll be checking that out in a couple weeks.
I guess it remains to be seen how useful or unuseful that is.
Yeah. Well, I Want to Dance with Somebody has got wide release bookings right now at every theater in this area, but I don't have anything advanced for Babylon yet, and they both come out the same day. So, 2 days apart from each other. So
Having now seen the trailer for Empire of Light, because I don't even know whether that's been released online, and if it has, it's never come across my screen, unlike the Babylon one from this past week.
I've seen two trailers for Empire of Light.
Oh,
there's a short form trailer, and there's a longer one now that I like even more. That's why I almost put Coleman back in my lineup. Spoiler alert, I didn't. We'll get there. Yeah, but we got to go through chat. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, Christ, that's going crazy. Yeah, so I'll get to the spirit stuff in a minute. Bright says first set of the televised awards are done, but that'll be saved for another podcast or nomination discussions with other award show noms. Now we're sticking it partly here, but FYC updates: Babylon ads are back after its error, and the ads for A24 are coming out. And it's official: Ki Kwan will be going supporting. Sorry, AJ. If it means that he's got more of a chance of winning, I wouldn't object. I partly don't think that's category fraud.
Either category is still relatively barren, so
yeah,
I guess he's got equal chances either way.
Joseph's got some other trivia stuff. 92 to 93 Oscars throwback. Supporting actor Gene Hackman for Unforgiven. Other nods were Pacino for Glengarry Glen Ross, David Paymer for Mr. Saturday Night, Nicholson for Few Good Men, and Jay Davidson for Crying Game. Supporting actress went to Marissa Tomei. Others were Julie Davis for Husbands and Wives, Vanessa Redgrave for Howard's End, Joan Plowright for Enchanted April. Wow, that was an English year. And then Miranda Richardson for Damage. Best actress went to Emma Thompson for Howard's End. Other nods: Mary McConnell for Passion Fish, Susan Sarandon for Lorenzo's Oil, Catherine Deneuve for Indochine, and Michelle Pfeiffer for Love Field. And then the lead actor Pacino sent for Woman. Other nods: Denzel for Malcolm X, Stephen Ray for Crying Game, Clint Eastwood for Unforgiven, and Downey Jr. for Chaplin. And then on the screenplay front for original, winner was The Crying Game. Other nods: Lorenzo's Oil, Wise, Passion Fish, and Unforgiven. And then adapted, Howard's End got the win, with the other nominees being Enchanted April, A River Runs Through It, The Player, and Scent of a Woman. Going through that sort of list stuff, the first of Spencer's queries, which is one that I'm trying to work out even off the top of my head. So it was pick your favourite director of all time and go through the last 12 Best Picture winners and how would they direct each of the Best Picture winners, and if it would be a better or a worse movie. I mean, on my director front, I'd probably say Danny Boyle. I haven't really hated anything that he's directed ever. I mean, I'm pretty sure AJ's gonna say Tarantino.
Yes, I believe so.
Owen?
Because I try to take into account of all time,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, still, I don't get a feeling. I get a certain feeling with Tarantino that I've never had with any other director,
Yeah.
despite how many directors I love through all the years past. But
So
that's my problem with this question, though, is that I've made it clear a couple of times now that it's like I really don't know how Tarantino's movies are going to turn out. You
Yeah.
only know until you see them, so I have no idea how to.
so
No.
you're saying starting at 2011, starting with the King's Speech and all the way to Coda, you would say what Danny Boyle, Quentin Tarantino, and come on, it's me, Kev Smith,
Yeah.
would yay or nay if it would be better or worse. Is that what we're getting at?
I think so, yeah. So
Yeah, condense. How about yes or no for both of them?
for King's Speech,
Okay, we're all going to answer at the same time. I think that works better. Ashley goes, AJ goes, then I'll go.
okay. For King's Speech, I'd probably it wouldn't be better or worse. I think it'd be probably about the same. That it feels like it would be sort of that sort of thing that Danny would actually do.
Yeah, he just have the actors like centered, unlike Tom Hooper does.
AJ, Tarantino, King's Speech.
It'd be wild, but I'm sure.
And I'm pretty sure Kevin's King's Speech would have a lot more cursing.
Yeah, well,
for 2011 was The Artist. I think he might be able to do a better touch because again, it'd be something different from him, a silent style, well, pretty much a silent movie. I think he'd probably be good at, and probably would be better than Michelle did.
Tarantino doing the artist.
it's a movie about movies. Hell yes.
Same with Kevin Smith. We've already got the black and white from Clerks. Perfect. Oh, what's next? Go ahead.
I'll go for 2012. I he hasn't really done action. It'd be interesting to see, but I don't know whether it'd be as good as what Affleck did.
A movie where a movie saves the day, Tarantino would be all over that. Yeah.
And you can't tell me that Kevin Smith wouldn't have delighted in getting Affleck an Oscar.
And remember, Smith even pointed out that Affleck used his fucking cast from
Exactly.
Red State.
Paybacks.
2013's 12 Years a Slave. No. I think it helps that McQueen directs that.
Yeah, mine made it the year before.
Yeah.
Just with a shitload more blood.
Kevin Smith doing a movie like 12 Years a Slave would probably like blow people's minds. And I really think he'd be up to the challenge, even though I have a feeling it's going to put him in so much mental disarray, he'd have to take a long break afterwards.
2014 was Birdman. I'd probably say no. It's very Inarritu.
Tarantino doing Birdman?
Inarritu mastered the look of it, but I think Tarantino would have greatly improved the dialogue.
I could say the same thing about Kevin. He doesn't work with effects fairly often, but I'm sure he would have knocked that dialogue out of the park.
2015 for Spotlight. He might get a bit more tension sort of out of like some of the bits, so I'd probably say just yes.
I love this question.
I'm gonna actually say I'm gonna stick with McCarthy on this one because Spotlight needs the really sensitive touch that McCarthy has.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think just like with Tarantino, even though you didn't go that route, I think that both Tarantino and Smith would both go into their archives and wrap themselves up in so many movies from the past to figure out exactly the perfect way to pull off something like Spotlight.
And plus, we'd see so many Catholic priests getting blown away.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's definitely happening in the movie.
2016's winner, Moonlight. Again, I think no.
That I'm gonna say I'm definitely sticking with Barry Jenkins because that movie's look is so specific and unique that I can't see it another way.
I think Kevin would work with Malcolm to come up with the perfect story.
2017 Shape of Water. That's so Del Toro's vision, I wouldn't want to change it, really.
I think it'd be even more outrageous if Kevin did it.
Yeah, I could certainly imagine, especially towards the end when it goes full bloodshed, that Tarantino would have a great time with that. But like Ashley was saying, and like I was talking about with Barry Jenkins, the vision is too specific that I think it has to stay the way it is.
2018 was Green Book. Of fucking course it'd be a better film.
I am the Green Book apologist on the network, apparently.
There'd be a lot more racial slurs in it, but
that car dialogue would be so much more different.
I'd still be interested to see what it would be.
In that respect, I want Tarantino to remake Driving Miss Daisy.
I want Tarantino to drive my car.
I'm trying to figure now that you brought up Driving Miss Daisy and Green Book, I'm now wondering how he would feel if Tarantino remade a movie that Spike Lee already hates. Would he hate it more or less?
2019's Parasite. Again, it's such iconic to director Bong's vision that no, it wouldn't be better if Danny did.
Yeah.
I think Kevin trying to tackle a movie like that would be too much to take. I don't think all the weed in the world would be enough to get him to be able to take on something like Parasite.
And I think to some extent, Danny Boyle sort of already did a variant of Parasite in Shallow Grave. To some extent, with a sort of
I can kind of see that, yeah.
hidden secret sort of thing going on.
This is quite possibly one of the best questions we've ever gotten on this network.
2020's Nomadland.
He's the best thing Spencer's ever given us.
2020's Nomadland. Of course he would, because it'd be more an actual sort of dig at the system and whatever. You know, it'd be sort of Ken Loach style, rather than whatever the hell was actually done.
I'm trying to imagine all of the nomads that are there, and they're very sort of soft-spoken, kind of the way they tell their stories, and that being amped up by like 20. I don't know. It'd be a weird movie. It'd be really weird.
Honestly, I just cut out the middleman and just turned Red State into a documentary.
And then last year's Coda, again, I think Sean just had the right vision for it to just be perfect for her rather than anyone else, really.
I'd love to hear the soundtrack.
Oh.
That could be fun.
I think if Kevin was given a script like Coda, I think he would not necessarily know right away what to do with it. But I have faith in him as a director that he would have been able to make something that would have probably been extremely divisive, but it definitely would have had an audience.
Briefly get into some more comments before I get to the other stuff. Josephine says, I want Bones and All to get an adapted screenplay nod so bad.
That'd be great.
Also,
I would love that, but I can't.
we'll have to get some clarification here. Josephine says, Owen, can you tell them about my TikTok today about marketing?
Yeah, she was talking about marketing and film and everything being like completely like different, like how it should be. I mean, Jersey, I watched it for like a second, and I was trying to like, you have a lot of good points and everything, and I just want to make sure that people know where to find you on that evil Millennium Machine. What is the what's the actual? Because I don't have it in front of me right now. Josie, what is your TikTok right now? It's like Josie Films, and please don't make me die out here on this hill right now.
Put it in the chat. Feel free, Josie.
Yeah, Josie. Yeah, she talks about everything on Instagram, and she also talks about it on her Twitter, and she like retweets things that are important, like the fact that we got officially announced today that all the Oscar nomination categories are getting put on the main show this year. Heck
Thanks,
yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Josie Film and Lot.
Yeah, there we go. I'm just wondering whether the
Lit.
Josie
Take
Film
a shot.
Lit.
Lit because, of course, the fact she's a librarian, so it makes perfect sense.
I'm just wondering whether, like, you brought that up because of the whole thing that happened this past week with the barely any marketing for Strange World, and then, of course, it flopped in the box office. But
I mean, Strange World has absolutely no use to me no matter what at this point, because even if it got nominated for animated, I wouldn't care because I still can't see the front runner at this point theatrically, so I don't even care anymore.
Because, the American release wasn't that good. I think it took less than 1 million over here, which for even for a Disney animated film, yet alone, obviously including Pixar and everything, it really didn't.
Gonna do Delgo numbers.
Oh.
And that's with 3D.
Josephine also says, I saw Armageddon Time, Owen. I thought it was a very provocative coming-of-age film, and I like how unsentimental it is.
Such a great movie, and such a good movie to watch in an afternoon too. It's a nice movie that just makes you think a little bit, and I really dug it. It's not going to do anything anywhere, but it's solid.
And then, despite the bad box office for award contenders, which isn't as bad as Film Twitter's making out to be, more people are going to the films than did last year and to previous. That's the thing. I think we're getting a much more staggered return to everything. I mean, not it's an exact comparison, but last week they released the official rail statistics for like passenger numbers, and Waterloo Station in London got its title back as like the most used, but I think it was at like 41 million for the 12-month period, which is about 40% lower than what it was pre-pandemic. So nobody's coming back, but people are still using the thing for it to get like move in, and I think that's probably what's happening with the films.
It's gone.
It's out for you too. Okay.
Anyway, before Ashley gets stopped, there we go. Okay. Anyway, I'll continue chat because I have to keep on track here. Josie says, what I loved about Timothy and Taylor's performances is how vulnerable they were. Oh my god, yes, absolutely.
Right, what I was getting into before technical things fuck me over. Part of me is like the state of theatres and how they are. I think partly it's just people are getting accustomed to the fact that if they're lucky, they can probably pay the same amount that they can for a cinema ticket to get a premium rental, be it on Amazon or on Google or whatever, and get it that way instead. If they don't want to go out, if it's more convenient to watch it at home and like be able to pause it, rather than I'm missing all this interesting bit when I go to the toilet.
Then you have Netflix deciding to take money out of their own pockets by running a week-long run of Glass Onion with sellout crowds and just being like, yep, it's gone. Bye.
Have they not tried
Comes out
to
on
like get... there a chance that they could bring it back for another week? Maybe not this coming week because it's too late, but like next week?
Nope.
Or has Top Gun
When it gets
basically taken those slots now that it's like they didn't jump quick enough?
when it gets its Oscar nomination that I feel it's going to get, yeah, I think that's when you're going to see it come back in the theaters at limited.
It also seems logical because you think they'd be afraid of combating with their streaming release, but that's not for almost another month.
Yeah, I think
it comes out on Festivus.
That's December 23rd, so the Friday before Christmas.
Festivus, the day that Babylon comes out.
Yeah, so it's not like they'd be doing competition with themselves.
Right.
Yeah, I think the only... I can't remember what the big release is the week before Avatar, off the top of my head, for you guys. They wouldn't give it over here because like none of the cinemas near me did it. They can promote all they want. I mean, let me fucking see it, you stupid twat. And then that's also an interesting thing that I noticed a few weeks back. Banshees is going to be going to HBO Max by Christmas as well, I think.
Yep.
So we'll see whether that starts showing up in the ratings if people actually are excited by it.
Hey, that was from Gabriel. Mr. Top Hat's back. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah. Again, alerting us to the all 23 stuff, which is great to see. Strange World isn't Pixar, just Disney Animation. Yeah, but it's still a Disney logo on all the Pixar stuff as well, isn't it? So that's what I meant by that. Right. We'll do a quick assessment of the spirit stuff. Now, the Altman Award going to Women Talking.
Before we start talking about what's not in doubt, literally, Top Hat does bring up one last thing in chat that I do want to mention. That's something that kind of affects me, but not really. Del Toro's Pinocchio is actually currently playing at Regal's right now, so it's got a good chance to showing up in wider release in Regal cinemas too. I don't know if they have just Del Toro has a deal with them or what's going on, but apparently it's available in a lot of Regals. I've seen that in other cities, but it's not here.
Would that be similar to Netflix? Just because they're also Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that just be similar to their Knives Out deal, perhaps?
I would say so.
But it is still.
I assume that's probably all part of it.
It's still weird that the very first Knives
I don't care.
film. It's weird that the first Knives Out film isn't on Netflix. Apparently, they couldn't come to an agreement on that bit with Lionsgate. But no, like the big film over here this past weekend has been Matilda the Musical, which it isn't. It's basically Shaun the Sheeping. Despite getting a cinema release here, it's just getting put straight to Netflix for you guys, I think, Christmas Day. Which I guess is something to put in from the kids. Maybe. So yeah, before I jump back into chat, we'll quickly go over some of the highlights from the Spirit Awards. Yeah, Women Talking getting the Altman Award, which I then find it weird that it's actually getting nominations in categories and everything as well. Because previously it was like if it gets the Altman Award, it doesn't get anything else.
Yep.
So I guess they've thrown that rule out. The TV stuff I think is coming in a couple of weeks in terms of those predictions. But yeah, for editing we have Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and I double checked. Despite how live action some of that is being classified as an animated film. I guess they realised the fuck up with the Lego movie, and it's like, do it. Along with Cathedral.
Well, while you guys are going over the spirits, I'll be right back.
Okay. We've also got Cathedral, After Sun, Everything Everywhere, and Tar in the nominations there. I'd say it's a pretty solid list for the spirits. For cinematography, we have Tar, Marina, After Sun, Pearl, and Neptune Frost. I'm pleased to see Pearl get recognition. Then again,
it deserves to.
I'm trying to work out whether X is better than Pearl. I talk about Pearl because it still has no release date over here.
Either way, they're both solid performances by Mia Goth.
Well, I'm talking the cinematography. Performance-wise, yeah.
They're both fantastic. Pearl, I would say overall because of the wide shots that remind me of Bastards.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's obviously
Bastards meets The Wizard of Oz.
Pearl is more period than X is, so
100%. And I think Maxine will be more like completely in tuned in the 80s mantra like it's supposed to be.
Then with Best International Film, we've got Saint Omer from France, which is France's entry. Leonore Will Never Die, which I think is the Philippines entry as well. Return to Seoul from South Korea, but also France, Belgium, and Romania. Joyland, which is Pakistan, but also America. Which I don't know if that's Pakistan's official selection. And then Corsage, which is technically Austria, but it's also Luxembourg, France, Belgium, Italy, and England, because let's be confusing. But I'd say that's a pretty strong list. I'd say. Best documentary feature, the previous ones that we mentioned from Gotham, All That Breathes and All the Beauty and the Bloodshed are in here, along with Housemaid of Splinters, Midwives, and Wrightsville, USA. First screenplay, Fire Island, Palm Trees and Power Lines, Emergency, Bodies, 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 and Emily the Criminal.
Yes. Yes, that yes is for Bodies, 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 not Emily the Criminal, by the way.
That movie should have been right up my alley, and it just wasn't.
For Best First Feature, we have After Sun, Emily the Criminal, The Inspection, Marina, and Palm Trees and Power Lines. Pretty strong list. For Best Screenplay generally, overall, all the directors. Lena Dunham for Catherine Called Birdie, Todd Field for Tar, Kogonada for After Yang, The Daniels for Everything Everywhere, and Sarah Polley for Woman Talking.
And like I was saying, I'm just gonna take the Spirit Awards' word for it. I think because I believe I told the story before during a Q&A that I had to watch Catherine Called Birdie months ago for a focus group twice.
Yeah.
And when I watched it the second time, it was no different from the first time. So I'm assuming its final form is exactly what I've already seen. So
I'll have to. I can't really verify because I can't go each scene and whatever directly to you. That's one I probably need to catch on, but because it's Amazon Prime Video, I can actually sort of catch up on it freely. For True Performance, we've got Frankie Correa for After Sun, Gracia Flipovich for Marina, Stephanie Sue for Everything Everywhere. Why is that a breakthrough? Lily McKinney for Palm Trees and Power Lines, and Daniel Zolgardi for Funny Pages. Then in the supporting performance category, 7 Men to 3 Women. Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Nina Hoss for Tar, Brian Darcy James for Cathedral, Kihi Kwan for Everything Everywhere, Trevante Rhodes for Bruiser, Theo Rossi for Emily the Criminal, Mark Rylance for Bones and All, Jonathan Tucker for Palm Trees and Power Lines, and Gabrielle Union for The Inspection. I'd say pretty strong list. Generally. At least in terms of on the independent front. When we get to lead performance, I've got a query. So for lead performance, we've got Blanchett for Tar, Dale Dickey for Love Song, Mia Goth for Pearl, Regina Hall for Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul, Paul McBell for After Sun, Aubrey Plaza for Emily the Criminal, Jeremy Pope for The Inspection, Andrea Riseborough to Leslie, Taylor Russell for Bones and All, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere. Is The Whale not independent?
He didn't make it. They didn't go for Fraser.
Because The Whale isn't in here at all, which is surprising.
A lot of people said when these nominations dropped, where's Brendan Fraser?
Do we know for a fact it was eligible?
it's the Spirit Award. We don't know anything.
You know,
yeah, that's the thing is like
considered like too mainstream. Yeah, you know, because obviously there's barely any Netflix stuff in here. Despite was Power of the Dog in last year?
I don't even remember because we had that conversation. I think it was just last year we had that conversation where it was like, I get like when stuff gets in at the Spirits, it can be a really good sign for them potentially and kind of help their momentum. But I never see it as a big thing if somebody misses a Spirit Awards nomination because a lot of stuff that seems like it probably shouldn't have did, and I think it's just it's never something I worry about if somebody misses here.
And like, you know, is because Apple have Coda now and it like won major plaudits, is that now not considered independent anymore? It's always weird, and like, you know, Catherine Called Birdie is, or is it just distributed by Amazon? I can't remember. And then for director, we have Todd Field for Tar, Kogonada for After Yang, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere, Sarah Polly for Women Talking, and Helena Regine for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Yeah.
And the best feature list has Women Talking in it. So if it wins, is it getting the Altman Award? Along with Tar, Bones and All, Everything Everywhere at Once, and Our Father the Devil. Which is worth noting because I don't think it appears anywhere else.
I think isn't there always at least one picture nominee that does that here? This place is so fucking weird.
No,
it always has.
Like it doesn't have any other nomination, but it's in Best Feature, which I don't get. So much so that the link on the link for it is just a link to the IMDb page because there is no Wikipedia page for it. And it's not like even the filmmakers are even sort of in like the other awards, like the Cassavetes Award or the Someone to Watch Award or anything like that. It's just randomly there. It's not even like in because it looks like it's documentary or style, or the poster makes it look like that anyway. It says thriller. So it looks foreign. So why isn't it in Best International? Weird. Very strange. Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Oh wait, a different bit. Bryce says if you're wondering, he was proposing a game for the tech categories, but we've got to get going. Fair point. But the game was going to be going from last year. Do you agree with the winner, or do you think one of the other nominees should have won? Top Hat says I'm censored. No, I'm not. It's just this microphone / computer is shit. And then talking about the Pinocchio stuff, and Josephine says surprised no decision to leave at Spirits, which is coming to Mubi in a week. Well, December 9th exactly, but that's a week on Friday, so
that's the day I'm watching Empire of Light.
In terms of, I don't think there's anything else directly for State of the Race stuff.
Nope. Go to the awards.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'll save the other bit. The two little bits I'll do from Spencer before I do the bigger list.
Yeah, knock those out real quick then.
What would we have for runner-up for sound editing in 2008? The winner, of course, being Dark Knight. The other nominees were Iron Man, Slumdog Millionaire, WALL-E, and Wanted.
WALL-E.
I guess I would say Iron Man.
Yeah, if we're talking sound editing, I'd probably go with that more. Wanted to be better in terms of mixing because of all the sort of like everything rather than editing. And then the original screenplay list from that year: Milk from Dustin and Lance Black getting the win, but the other four were Courtney Hunt's Frozen River, Mike Leigh's Happy Go Lucky, Martin McDonagh's In Bruges, and then Stanton Riordan and Doctor's Wally.
The only answer is In Bruges.
It's an inanimate.
Yeah, the best movie of that year.
It's
the best movie of that year, and it's one
object.
nomination.
It's an inanimate motherfucking object. Do I need to say any more?
Oh, by the way, Owen.
Yeah.
Speaking of fines, real quick, we were talking about the menu, and
Yes.
you were asking me just how Ramsey Base is finds his character in the menu.
Yes.
For the first time today, when I was going down the hallway, when I was coming out of Bones and All, I passed the screen that has a poster for the menu on it.
Mm-hmm.
That specific poster for the menu, where it's just fines, like at a counter, is like a direct reference to like a Hell's Kitchen poster. It's like identical.
Nice. I figured that were the case based upon the way he acts during the entire movie.
So, yeah, I'll leave the screenplay question probably till the end. But yeah, we'll do
No, just go for it.
Okay.
Do it so we can
so
get
this is
get
a
to our
case of whether the original or the adapted winner from that year is better. Going all the way from 2000. So for 2000, it's
if this involved, we're gonna do it that way.
Yeah. Almost Famous versus Traffic.
Almost Famous.
I'd probably say Almost Famous.
Fuck.
For me, that's super easy.
I'll say it's tough. I'll say Traffic, but it's hard. It's really hard.
2001, Gotham Park versus A Beautiful Mind.
Can I abstain?
I like A Beautiful Mind more, but that's only because I haven't rewatched Gosford Park, and I probably should, because I don't think I was mature enough to really get it when I last saw it.
I hate you, Russell Crowe, for stealing Moulin Rouge's thunder.
I'll be British biased and say Gosford Park. Julian Fellowes for the win. Talk to Her or The Pianist. I'd probably give the edge to Talk to Her.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings Return of the King versus Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation.
Yeah, I'd probably say that.
None of the Rings movies ever should have won picture.
We're talking screenplay, not picture.
Well, they shouldn't have won anything. I hate the Rings movies.
I might say Return of the King.
Versus Lost in Translation?
Yeah, I think so.
Picture-wise, I can see where you're coming from, but screenplay-wise?
I think Return of the King was like probably the weakest of the three in terms of screenplay. I preferred the stories of the first two more.
Yeah, it's because I think what it is I'm sitting here trying to imagine myself trying to write Return of the King, and I don't think I could.
That's fair. I'll give you that. As a writer, I totally understand that.
2004, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind versus Sideways.
Oh
God.
God, I still reference Sideways to this day. On this channel, if you're paying attention.
This is the one time where I'd have to say, just based on the fact of how original it is. I know that's unfair because the other one's adapted, but I mean, there's original, and then there's Eternal Sunshine on a whole other level.
Yeah.
I still have to go with Pain on this one. I love Sideways that much.
I'll just give the edge to Eternal Sunshine, but they are two, really good scripts.
And honestly, I can't forget the story I have from previewing Sideways, literally sitting in the aisleway with McDonald's in my lap, watching the movie the whole time at like 11:45 at night. That was great.
2005, Crash versus Brokeback Mountain.
That's Brokeback.
Yeah, Brokeback.
Crash.
Okay.
I will defend Crash to this day. Always.
06, Departed versus Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh.
Right. I love this is kind of the reverse of 2004, where I love Little Miss Sunshine so much, but The Departed is one of the best adaptations of all time.
I'll give love to Little Miss Sunshine on this one.
I sort of
I love
prefer. I
part of
prefer
it.
the original Infernal Affairs, mainly because it did in 3 films what Departed had to do in 1 to some extent. So
Wouldn't that make The Departed better?
Yeah, I think it.
I want to
This
see
is from
3
the guy that's
films.
half asleep
This is
right now.
it's
Come
such a
on.
good enough story that you can drag it out for 3 films.
You reminded me. You reminded me just now of when Amber Heard's lawyer objected himself.
Yeah. PlausibleDeniability.com.
I would go with Sunshine just, but that's only because even though Departed is really good, I do prefer the original.
Oh God, this I don't want to hear this next one. It's gonna stick a knife in my heart. Don't make me answer it.
Call it, friendo. No Country for Old Men or Juno from 07.
I can't answer that. I'm not going to answer that. I can't.
Oh God, they're both so incredible for different reasons, and
here's the thing: is the only reason I would not say No Country for Old Men is because it's just literally copy and paste of the book, which is what the Coen Brothers do, and they do it beautifully. But Juno is so special to me. I don't want to answer that question.
I'll go ahead and because I know, I'll go ahead and go with Diablo Cody for you, sir.
I'd probably edge it to Juno as well, because if No Country was that much of just a copy and paste, at least Juno was trying to like actually do something in terms of screenplay. For 08, Slumdog Millionaire versus Milk.
God,
they're both great, and I still reference both movies to this day in different memes.
I'd have to just ever so slightly probably say Slumdog, but it's so close.
There's a reason why we use the term "the greatest thing since Slumdog," and Danny Boyle cannot be turned down on this one. But you cannot forget the brilliantness that is Diego, and as Latino Man.
For 09,
freaking Josh Brolin every day.
For 09, we have Hurt Locker versus Precious.
Hurt Locker. Next.
Yeah, probably say Hurt Locker.
If it had won, the answer would have been
award, so it doesn't matter.
If it had won like it was intended to, Up in the Air would be the answer, though.
Up in the Air is the correct answer. Yeah.
Bastards is the best of the 10, of course.
Yes.
2010, King's Speech versus Social Network.
Oh Lord. Your answer 15 years ago would have been different.
I really like the King's Speech, but that's not even a question.
Yeah. It's the Social Network.
This is a tougher one. Midnight in Paris or The Descendants?
I really like Midnight in Paris, but I say The Descendants pretty easily. I really love The Descendants a lot.
Give another nod to Pain.
Yeah.
By the way, I'd say Social Network on the other one as well because I didn't mention it. Oh, 2012.
By the way, the great thing is because we're sticking to what actually won. Obviously, in a lot of situations, as you've been watching this network for a long time, would know that we would probably choose different winners if we had the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, surely, yeah.
Based upon what actually got nominated, and this seems like a long-term game we use for another show down the line.
Yeah, that's what Bry was hinting at with his thing, like what we'd actually put in for the categories in some cases, like from back in the day.
I almost would make that a special free pass for QA shows, just because I like this concept.
For 2012, Argo or Django?
Oh, Django. I'm sorry, Affleck. You're the bombing Phantoms, yo.
Well, it'd be Chris Terrio you're apologizing to right here.
I know, but still. I did apologize to Chris Terrio. Don't forget that.
2013, 12 Years a Slave or Her?
I'm saying 12 Years a Slave.
I liked Her a lot more than you did, though, easily.
Most people did. People love Her. It's
so good. And this is me we're talking about here. Of course I like a movie like her.
Yes, I say I pick 12 Years a Slave as Steve McQueen does his sarcastic clapping.
I like a Steve McQueen movie, but it's a completely different type of movie.
I can't tell if you're talking about Shame or the actor, Steve McQueen. Because I know you're not talking about Hunger. I know you're talking about Shame. I know you're not talking about Widows either.
Nope.
2014, Imitation Game or Birdman?
Birdman.
Yeah, that's Birdman.
But the correct answer is Whiplash.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which.
Well, no, the right answer is Grand Budapest.
Yeah,
Grand
I was going
Budapest.
to say, if that was the Grand Budapest, yeah, that should have been the correct answer.
Well, here's the problem though, and to this day, that's always the thing that's going to kind of make Birdman less impactful. We watched it for a second. If we would have watched it first, we probably would have liked it more.
2015, Spotlight or Big Short?
Back then, I would have said The Big Short. These days, I would say Spotlight.
Spotlight.
Yeah, I'd give it the edge, but like that probably rescued Adam McKay's career from just doing sort of stupid comedies rather than intellectual comedies. 2016, Manchester by the Sea or Moonlight?
Moonlight.
Yeah.
I hate you, Casey Affleck. Thanks for
I don't want to
feeling me.
I don't want to. I'd be more conflicted and if it was La La Land and Moonlight, but why Manchester by the Sea got original? I don't entirely get.
Well, the correct answer is La La Land, but it's not theirs.
Yeah, Hell or High Water. Long before La La Land.
Hell or High Water was so good.
Yeah.
Speaking of good, we're up to this next one.
2017, Call Me by Your Name or Get Out?
Get Out.
Get Out.
Yes, Get Out.
It's still impactful to this day.
Oh, speaking of an easy one, 2018, Green Book or Black Klansman? Hi, Spike Lee, we like you. We know you don't like the other one.
I love Green Book. As you know, I am the resident apologist of Green Book after watching it one time. But Black Klansman's so good. That's definitely the answer.
Oh, 2019, Jojo Rabbit or Parasite?
Jojo Rabbit.
Shit, man.
Every time I watched it, it got more impactful, even though I knew what was about to happen. I love Parasite. Parasite's great.
I take every opportunity I can to praise Watsude for how much he juggled tone in that.
Yeah.
But then, like, you could say the exact same thing about fucking Parasite.
Yeah,
just a different tones he had to juggle, but different tones nonetheless.
Yeah. I'd give the edge to Parasite, but that again is a tough one. It's not like an obvious one. For 2020, we got The Father and Promising Young Woman.
Promising Young Woman.
Oh. This is like 2007.
I'm a little bit behind. I don't care.
Damn. Yeah, I'll say Promising Young Woman, but shit. That's I forgot how great that pair of winners was.
Yeah.
Just Carrie's dialogue in that movie, just fantastic.
I'd give the edge to Emerald.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Coda and Belfast from last year.
Belfast.
I'd probably edge it to Coda.
That's a tough one because I would have said, because I was all gung-ho about Belfast when I was kind of like indifferent to it when I first watched it, and then it took a second viewing to really get it and really like drink in everything that happened. Coda kind of hit with me right away, but I'm sorry that some of that dialogue sucked. Yeah, we're going Belfast.
Yeah, I don't want it to sound dismissive of Coda how quickly I said Belfast. That's just how much I fucking love Belfast.
Belfast is really good. Belfast was a lot more. I liked Belfast a lot more than I thought I would.
briefly to the chat. Josephine says, I wanted to be Juno when I was younger. Not pregnant, but her characteristics.
I like how you have to quantify that, Josie. That makes me happy.
And then Bry's picks would be King's Speech, Midnight in Paris, Django, 12 Years a Slave, Imitation Game, Big Short, Manchester by the Sea, Get Out, Green Book, Jojo Rabbit, Promising Young Woman, and Coda.
That sounds like a few months in the Athens theater. Or sitting in a broken chair in my old place watching movies on my computer.
That theater you just mentioned, the last movie I saw at that theater was Green Book.
Nice. So I'm making an executive decision on this one because I like this game. This is fun. This is going to stay.
Oh.
So this is going to be something we're going to do for QAs because we can relegate it that way. So if you want to continue doing this throughout history thing, I'll strike it from the awards conversation because I don't want it on award shows because it's going to make the shows a lot longer, and we want to try to get everything in a concise little ball together so we can make everything a little bit more like straight to the point because we got to get to our awards coverage because we're already 8 o'clock right now and we need to get going ski because we got 8 categories to talk about. And there's
we might when this goes up, we might want a timestamp where the actual predictions are so we don't piss anybody off.
Well, that's lucky. It's sort of at the top of the hour if you look at your clocks.
QA. So coming soon to Pop the Question is going to be the either or game from the awards history.
Yeah, and also feel free to also delve into maybe, the Writers Guild and how they compare to the Oscars because they won't always match and whatever.
And every once in a while, why don't you ask about if we could have picked somebody else to win? Who would we choose?
Yeah.
I like those games. Those games are fun.
Rye was hinting at, yeah.
And the questions with about our favorite directors directing the last 12 Best Picture winners, that was phenomenal. Love that.
Those are also easier because they're awards questions that don't involve us having to try to think back through awards history. The choices are already there.
Exactly. That's why I like it that way, and that's why I'm going to say that yes, it's allowed to stay.
Right, so because we are at the top of the hour,
yeah, my watch just beat.
Roughly an hour and 10 minutes in, I'll make a note of that. Time to get into the 8. We'll start off as ever with adapted screenplay. Go ahead, AJ.
If I should bring this up, as it's just been said, literally right before I sat down in this chair, right just now, I had just gotten back from Bones and All.
Yep.
So I wanted to be clear that I actually made the choices that I made before seeing the movie just now. So any choices I make are not directly influenced by the fact that I just saw the movie, just to be clear. So with that said, Josie said something before, and if I'm not completely wrong or off here, she might be in luck. Because in adapted screenplay, I have Bones and All, as well as All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, She Said, and Women Talking. I took out Living for Bones and All because actually I don't really know what it is. I don't feel like I still have faith in Bill Nye, but I'm not really hearing much of anything else about the movie.
Same.
I don't know if I'm just not in the right circles or what. But now that I've said this, I'm very, very curious what Ashley has to say about this category to see if I made a mistake or not.
I haven't changed adapted. I still have Glass Onion, Living, She Said, The Whale, and Women Talking. I have never been so sure about Living. It is such... it's phenomenally well done. The fact that obviously the original Kurosawa film, which I guess was not traditional for him, was actually not a period piece. It was a contemporary piece. He set it in 1953 Japan. Ishiguro has decided to take the story and just adapt it over to 1953 Britain. So it is actually a period piece from a contemporary film from a Tolstoy book. Or Tolstoy novella.
That's really interesting.
There's a lot of interesting writing. We get, I mean, the thing I didn't expect is we get flashbacks, because like, I want to say mild spoilers, but you can probably guess what happens to the character. It's just when they actually depart the film that's the surprise. Because I was like, wait, how long have we got left in this film? And they get round it sort of rather beautifully. And there's a lot of... It's very much written as a British film probably would be of that day as well. In that respect, it deserves a lot of praise in that respect as well. It's trying to sort of go to the cinema tropes of the time, as they would have been presented as a contemporary piece. Like, I'm trying to think. I know it's a few years early, but like Brighton Rock style, because that was supposed to be like late 40s England, wasn't it?
That sounds right.
But yeah, it's beautiful, and to be honest, it's also good to see somebody writing stuff that isn't the director. That's also why I want to put it in here, because I don't think every film has to be from the director. I think Ishiguro does a wonderful job with it. Yeah. So that it took so long because living is gonna be my die on the fence thing, I think, for this year. In a couple of categories. We'll get to the.
I feel like I had it in. I had it in for a long... I don't know if I had it in since the beginning, but I've had it in for a long time, and I'm going to be pissed if I shouldn't have done it.
I guess the disadvantage is it's not coming out for you guys until what, like, around Avatar time? Like late December, I think?
Something like that. Yeah. Late.
It's weird. Like, we get that early, but, like, the other big ones, like Women Talking and Fabelmans and all that, no, they're January or February. You know. We get the Whitney Houston one at Christmas because people will be sick of Avatar. Thank God. But yeah, those are my 5. Go ahead, Owen, with your list.
As always, we're going to hit the chat first. Okay. Brian's picks: Glass Onion, Living, Man Called Otto, She Said, Women Talking. Josie says there's a precedent for Top Gun Maverick getting nominated for adapted screenplay because Christopher McQuarrie is an Oscar winner for The Usual Suspects. Mm-hmm. Very true.
I'd be down for that.
We'll get there, don't worry. Top Hat says Glass Onion, Living, She Said, The Whale, Women Talking. And Josie says Bones and All is deserving of adapted screenplay. Yes, it is. For its nod, for its clever establishment of the cannibal rules. Josie, when you have your picks, put them in chat because I want yours to be talked about as well. But that being said, I didn't change mine, and I almost did. I still have my adapted screenplay lineup as The Whale, Glass Onion, She Said, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking. I'm not giving up on this Top Gun train, and I really think it's going to move further and further along to the point that it's something you're not going to be able to avoid, especially with the fact that it's back in theaters again. So obviously someone's paying attention.
I feel like there's some places that didn't even leave.
That is a correct statement. It left for like a week and then it came right back.
I haven't looked at my local IMAX screen. All I know is for this week, they've got like afternoon Black Panther and then the other 2 showings in the evening of Violent Night. I'm wondering whether it's also going IMAX next week before Avatar.
I will say that I do completely agree with AJ and Josie about Bones and All being in here. And honestly, if I could kick Women Talking out of the lineup, I would. but I feel like that is the biggest sucker bet of that entire 5, so I'm not doing that. The only thing I think that would be expendable out of that 5, honestly, for me, would be the Whale. But I don't think that's correct either, so I'm okay with my 5.
Josephine's 5 are Bones and All.
Oh, God.
Okay, guys, got Bones and All, Glass Onion, Pinocchio, Whale, and Women Talking. Speaking of talking, Ashley will be doing that momentarily.
I was getting ready to say, because we haven't seen it yet, and that it could do so well, but we're not sure. I was gonna say that is a pain in the ass, but I didn't want there to be like an isolated soundbite of me saying women talking is a pain in the ass.
All the things I've said accidentally on here before. Come on, man. Seriously. Pinocchio could be a contender, Josie, honestly. I mean, we don't know anything about Del Toro's Pinocchio. And A Man Called Otto, every time I see that trailer, it's like something I really enjoy, and I can't wait to see it theatrically. But I don't know if it's going to be something that's going to do anything awards-wise. I'd be okay if it happens, but because it looks good. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, but I mean, he's literally me. Come on. He's like Carl Fredricksen with the cats. Perfect.
That's doing the traditional route, right, of like getting the bare minimum on Christmas and then going wide like mid-January.
I did not understand anything you said except for mid-January.
It's doing the tradition of bare minimum release of Christmas Day. And then,
okay, fair.
And then, wide release mid-Jan.
Well, and now we're moving on from adapted to original.
Well, Owen, you and I had a conversation recently about me making a change here.
Yes, we did.
I was going to do that, and then I realized there's nothing to put in its spot.
Oh, no, there's not.
So I just didn't make any fucking changes at all. I still have Babylon, the Banshees of Inisherin, and Everything Everywhere All at Once, the Fablemans, and Tar, which just seems way too easy. There's got to be some... I was trying to find a reason to take Babylon out, to be honest with you, and I couldn't find one.
Good answer.
I did find a reason to take out Babylon.
Oh.
And that's because it's Everything Everywhere All at Once.
What did you have before?
Nothing. I think Empire of Light was in, which got replaced by
been
Triangle of Sadness. And
do you know what I would have loved to have replaced Babylon with? The menu.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I'd
love the
like
menu
to see that get traction. The problem is it's going to be the Fablemans, despite I don't know how extraordinary that's going to be. I'm mixed thoughts on it. Because if everybody's being too glowing about it, that's concerning to me.
Believe the hype.
I'll wait. Everybody's trying to get hype for Avatar. How can you be?
What's that? I don't know what that is.
I find it hard to believe Spielberg's literal memoir wouldn't live up to the hype. I know that's a lot of hype, but it's just hard to imagine that not being worthwhile.
It's warm, it's heartfelt, it's emotional, it hits in the right places. It's definitely something I completely recommend. It's got some great performances in it.
Just for clarification, yeah, my original screenplay list is Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fableman's Tar, and Triangle of Sadness right now.
Oh, yeah.
The chat. Saying, hi, I'm Timmy Turner and I cheated on my math test. Okay. Is that because of my mic going wrong? Bribe for original screenplay. After Sun, Banshees, Everything Everywhere, Fablemans, and Tar. Mr. Top Hat has Babylon, Banshees, Everything Everywhere, Fablemans, and Tar. That being said, with mixed reviews, I'm a little iffy on Babylon. Wait, how have people seen it?
They haven't. He's iffy on it because he doesn't know he doesn't have any knowledge of it yet. No one's seen Babylon. Well, actually, that's not correct. There's been screenings, but it's not really out.
There's obviously a reason I'm just kind of not thinking about that movie, but I did forget that Triangle of Sadness was something I could have put instead of Babylon, but I didn't. Like I said, there's a reason I think I blocked that movie out of my head, and I still haven't even watched it yet, or
just
tried to watch it yet.
Just push that movie out to see where it belongs. It's good. Literally.
Josephine has After Sun, Banshees, Everything Everywhere, Fablemans, and Triangle of Sadness. Bry adding, After Sun expects it to do well at the BAFTAs. I'd have thought so. Although, of course, with the acting nominations there, considering how they like to ethnically do them, because it does seem to be like they're only allowed so many white people, that restricts it with like some of the contenders that are there that are British anyway. We'll get to him later. And also, Bry also mentions Barry Jenkins and Adele Romansky are producers on it as well. Top Hat says, imagine telling the story of your whole life and the world just goes, meh. Well, isn't that what happened at the box office? But then again, is that the market that he's catering to? But you'd have thought, given it's Spielberg, you thought he would, because everybody likes, Schindler's List and Catch Me If You Can and The Terminal and like all these popular things that he's done. So when it's his heartfelt thing, everyone goes, nah, Glass Onion's better.
Well, no, but Glass Onion is also available for a week, and The Fablemans is still in theaters right now, so waiting for a wider release at some day.
Right, Owen,
so yeah, in the world of Best Original Screenplay, my opinions haven't changed. Well, my opinion definitely has changed, but my lineup has not changed. I still have Babylon, I still have Banshees, I still have The Fablemans, are the two overrated movies that I don't want to talk about. Everything in Tar.
I'm aggravated now. If I had thought about this just like a few minutes ago, I would have said Triangle of Sadness instead of Babylon, but I'm fucked now. So it's already once it comes out of your mouth, it's solidified.
This is correct.
Bryads expect Charlotte Wells to get a director nom at the BAFTAs as well. I'd have thought so as well. Right, supporting actress, Bloodbath Part 1.
Ooh, here we go.
I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Remember the scene in Foxcatcher when Channing Tatum smashes his face into the picture? That's me trying to do supporting actress.
Correct.
And I made like, 3 changes. I made a 4th change and then I put it back.
Oh God, you almost completely changed your lineup.
Yes. So I have Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for Banshees, Claire Foy for Women Talking, Carey Mulligan for She Said, and Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, to talk about these changes, number 1, obviously I traded out Sadie Sink for Hong Chow. I somewhat cheated a little bit because I couldn't help myself.
Did you watch a trailer?
I don't watch trailers.
You watched the trailer.
I don't watch clips.
No.
I watched filmed clips of the play being performed by a different cast.
Okay, that's fair.
And Hong Chow's part looked a little more meaty and showy. And Hong Chow's kind of been in the spotlight a little more. Sadie Sink is still kind of new. And Hong Chow's been here for a little bit, which makes me go down that path.
Also, Hong Chow.
I really wanted to stick to the Samantha Morton thing, especially when she crushed her scene and she said as much as I thought she would. But if I had to pick only one person from She Said, I would think Mulligan has the best bet just because she's practically leading.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Like, if Mulligan was another supporting player and she was up against Samantha Morton, I would have probably said Samantha Morton. But since I'm only picking one and Mulligan's basically a lead, that's pretty much almost guarantees you a spot in supporting if you're practically lead but running supporting. Because I really cut down on the double nomination, because we were talking about how there's at least 2 people eligible here for The Whale, at least 2 people eligible here for Everything Everywhere All at Once, at least 2 people eligible here for She Said and Women Talking. It's fucking ridiculous. So, and I kept saying I'm going to stick with Buckley and Foy for Women Talking, because I feel like Women Talking is a 2 nominee category here. And then I was like, I need more room. That's what I based it on. I was like, I need more fucking room. And I'm tired of women talking, taking up all my spaces.
100%.
So I was like, and I'm really starting to feel this Stephanie Shu thing. Like, it would be really weird, honestly, in retrospect, if the movie did as well as we all expect it to and she missed. That's kind of starting to get harder to imagine. And it's kind of hard to, I don't know if, I know Jamie Lee Curtis might be another smart way to go because she's the veteran and she's so beloved and saintly in the industry and she has never been nominated. So that seems like it would make sense, but I feel like the heart of the movie is how the movie's speaking so much to everybody. So Shu is definitely the biggest part of that, apart from Yo and Ki Kwan, obviously. So the fact that the movie's coming for people's hearts and that's why they're so passionate about it is why I think Shu might have a better shot than Jamie Lee Curtis. And yeah, it was just basically a coin flip between Claire Foy and Jessie Buckley, and it was either, are they going to take the person they just welcomed to the club and just go with Buckley again, or are they going to go with Foy, who hasn't gotten in ever yet, who almost did for First Man? So just basically on the flip of a coin, I said, I'll go with the person that hasn't been nominated yet. So I said Foy. And that's supporting actress. Condon, as I said, seems pretty comfortable here right now. So yeah, that's that disaster of a fucking category.
Ashley.
I have Jessie Buckley for Women Talking, Hong Chow for The Whale, like with AJ replacing Sadie Sink's bit. I have Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, but her and Stephanie are sort of the coin flip for me. Janelle Monáe for Glass Onion, and Kerry Mulligan for She Said. I can't go into why Janelle Monáe is still in here. If you see the film, you'll realise why.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Go and chat, then I'll go.
Josephine says, I don't think people avoided Fablemans for that reason. As I said on TikTok, people don't know what movies are out there if they don't see TV spots. Well, yeah. I guess the mainstream press isn't going to want like something lovey-dovey like that right now. They want Santa beating the shit out of John Leguizamo.
I mean, that pretty much is what sold me on Violent Night. Was that it's David Harbour as Santa versus John Leguizamo. It's like, I'm suddenly really into this.
Could be a nice double feature with Empire of Light. That's happening.
And then Briar, supporting actress, Jessie Buckley, Kerry Condon, Claire Foy, Nina Hoss, and Stephanie Sue. Didn't change my mind from last month. If there's anything else in chat, the window seems to be frozen, so I don't know.
Josie says Buckley, Condon, Foy, Monet, and thank you for not laying me down that hill alone. And Dolly De Leon for Triangle of Sadness. Top Hat says Buckley, Condon, Chow, Foy, and Sue. I know Curtis is on the come up. There's no way she's getting in over Sue. Josie says maybe I'll switch Dolly for Hong since they are script dictions. I'm hoping to manifest. Brian says Carrie is most likely to get in for Maestro, which is Cooper's new movie next year. And, oh yeah, Josie brings up the fact Uncle Buck's on TV right now.
Hell yeah.
Top Hat, of course, throwing out the humor here. Well, Josie, tell him to get off of it or it's going to break.
Fair point.
Okay, Best Supporting Actress. I have had almost the same lineup like forever and a day. And I have been able to see Glass Onion now. Now, before I saw Glass Onion, without giving absolutely anything away, because I know that I'm one of the only ones on this panel that's actually seen the movie, because I watch movies in a theater, dang it. I don't care about streaming. Needless to say, when I have the opportunity to go, I'm going to take it. And I did. And Janelle Monáe was going to be somebody that I was going to bump out. And then I watched the movie. I feel very comfortable with where I am right now. Janelle Monáe is 100% solidified in my lineup until proven otherwise. Along with Hong Chow for The Whale and Jessie Buckley. And the new members of my group, and I don't know how I didn't have this. Gene Smart, I had to drop out because I didn't have Carrie Condon. The person that's seen Banshees does not have Carrie Condon in here. And after what Josie said about Condon being one of the ones that carries the movie, given the fact of what happens, yeah. And welcome back to a lineup you deserve, Carrie Mulligan, for, she said. Like AJ said, it's borderline category fraud from time to time, but I'm very happy that she's actually in this conversation. Because that she replaced Claire Foy, because I don't believe Women Talking is going to get 2 people. As a matter of fact, I may push back a little bit on Women Talking myself and probably am proven incorrect by the time we get to December. You'll just have to wait and see.
It still makes me very uncomfortable that out of context it sounds like that we don't like women having voices. No, it's the title. I swear it's the title.
I'm just tired of it having all the spots, and like AJ said, it's very difficult trying to find room for anything else because it's taking up all the spots. We'll get to that, don't worry. Oh, Best Supporting Actor.
This one also got a little bit of a makeover. Not as much as Supporting Actress did, but I'll just say them, and then I'll talk about it. I've got Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, Judd Hirsch for The Fablemans, Ki Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Mark Rylance for Bones and All, and Ben Whishaw for Women Talking. So instead of going Dano and Hirsch, I traded out Dano for Hirsch. Because like I said, when I think about those people, I keep getting flashbacks to what happened with Balfe and Dench in Belfast. How they had the choice to go for the person that's has a lot of acclaim and hasn't been nominated yet, or just go with the veteran. And that's, like I said, that's the vibe I was getting. So you could almost say Dornan and Hines did that for Belfast as well. But I definitely felt it a lot more because Bao felt like she was solidified, and they just said, no, we'll do Dench instead. Was wild. So that's the vibe I'm getting from Hirsch and Dano. The only other choice, who I put here now is Rylance. And if it was another actor, I would think it's a great role and a great performance, but there's no way they would go for it because it might be too out there. But I noticed this. I'm not quite sure how to describe this. Structurally, like his screen time feels like the exactly kind of thing that gets nominated because he's there. He's not there a lot, but he's there just long enough to keep reminding you of himself, to keep reminding you that the performance is there, and then just on top of the fact that it's Mark Rylance, who is probably an inspiration and or a mentor to a lot of Academy voters. So that's somebody where I was like, just because of who he is, I could imagine. And like I said, and just the performance itself is one of those things where I could see it getting in on its own merit. Like I said, on top of how much respect he has amongst the industry, I could see this being his next nomination after his win. That face was concerning, Owen. That was a technical difficulty face. Is everything good? Okay.
We're good.
Well, we're still streaming on OBS. I've had to restart the browser to try and work out what actually is going on.
I mean, I agree with everything you said, but I can't go that route. But we'll get there. Ashley.
Yeah, hang on. I'm trying to keep an eye on processes and whatever thing to try and make me be able to read the chat again. But while that loads up, for supporting, a couple of changes out for me. Harrelson is out, and the Fablemans is just generally out, and Mark Strong is out. I can't remember, I think Strong was taken out this time, and I took Judd Hirsch out. So I have Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, Barry Keoghan for Banshees, Ki Kwan for Everything Everywhere, finally. Mark Rylance for Bones and All, because there's been too much talk about his performance. And I'm sticking with Ben Whishaw for Women Talking, but that's probably the one where that might switch out for Fablemans at some point. That's probably what I've got at the minute.
Brian supporting actor, Brendan Gleeson, Brian Tyree Henry, Barry Keoghan, Ki Kwan, and Ben Whishaw. Top Hat says Dano, Gleeson, Hirsch, Kwan, Whishaw. Let's get Paddington nominated, boys. Not this year, Top Hat. Brian says I just took Judd Hirsch out. It's a mistake. Josie says Gleeson, Henry, Keoghan, Kwan, and Whishaw. I see. Yeah. Brian says, question, did Rylance say, will it help in Bones and All? No.
No, I could have misheard. I could have sworn Russell did, but I think I misheard.
She said something like it, but she didn't say the exact words.
Yeah, because the thing that really threw me off was it was her first scene with Rylance. That's what threw me off.
It was talking about help, though.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think she says, should I get help? I think is what she said.
Should I get help, yeah. Because I kind of giggled to myself when I was like, hee hee, that was funny. What's not funny is what I had to do. Best supporting actor. So, deservingly so, we keep with Paul Dano and Brendan Gleeson. Judd Hirsch, welcome to my lineup. You deserve it. That one scene's enough, man. That's all it is. That scene in the scene with him and Sammy in the bedroom. Oh man, just good stuff. So I had to dump Barry Keoghan, which I hated because Barry Keoghan's great in Banshees, and I'd love to keep him in here because he deserves to be here. I'm sticking with Brad Pitt for Babylon as my go-to at this point. And Ben Whishaw, you're gone. Because I didn't have Ki Kwan for everything.
Did you garrote him? What is this?
Maybe I've been playing too many video games. Or watching videos about video games.
That's actually on the PS2 too much.
I've been watching a lot of new Legacy Inc. lately. Yeah, I got Kwan in there. Whatever. It's something that I feel like I'm going to have to deal with.
So, moving on to lead actress.
Oh,
if you've got chat up, go for it.
Of course I do, because that's how we continue to be on time here. Do you think Women Talking could pull a sort of a reverse spotlight and Ben Whishaw could be the only acting nod? Says Josie.
It crossed my mind for like a second, and then it didn't. Then Claire Foy started taking over.
Yeah, he got pulled out of my list too.
Part of me feels if a film like Women Talking and She Said, where it would have the only nominations be the men, it sort of wouldn't be it'd be a.
It's like when people talked about the one acting nomination for Black Klansman being Adam Driver.
Yeah. Josie says, right in Sean Astin. And Top Hat says, there's always room on this bandwagon, Owen, have a seat. I don't want to be there. Believe me. I really don't.
Yeah, we do need to get our second Goonie nominated. That would be...
Great. And Josie, I'm 100% all up for your Encino Man reunion at the Oscars this year. It needs to happen. Best Actress, AJ.
I may or may not have some crow to eat, I guess.
I don't.
Well, because I've already somewhat kind of eaten this crow already because I had talked about why I didn't think Naomi Ackie was in the conversation. And it was because I had said, I think they're finally done with musical biopic performances after Hudson didn't get in. And then I had to turn right around and say, oh yeah, I forgot I put Austin Butler in. So now I have to eat this crow again. I have the whole course now. Because the reasoning in my head was that Hudson came out in the summer. And I want to dance with somebody who's going to come right in the middle of it all. Yep. Like right in a really key spot. and I had Viola Davis here before, and I didn't know who to replace her with. Because a lot of we had so many options before, and it feels like so many of them have kind of died off since then. And now that I want to dance with somebody is starting to come at just the right time, assuming it blows up like it could, I'm going ahead and saying Naomi Ackie will be here. On top of my other obvious choices, Cate Blanchett for Tar, Danielle Deadwyler for Till, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's
Ashley.
it.
Trying to think. I have made one change. Coleman has finally moved out. So we have Cate Blanchett for Tar, Danielle Deadwyler for Till, Margot Robbie for Babylon, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Michelle Williams is in here probably just on her performance alone, even though I'm a bit concerned about Fabelman, but again, I've still got to wait to see her. Which I guess is the same as how I feel with Margot Robbie. The trailer seems to do a good job, but at the same time, how much is there going to be for her to sort of do in those 3 hours or whatever it is, when it comes around to actually coming out? But yeah, Coleman might be, I want to put Zoe Kazan in here.
Wish I could.
But I think that's probably too strong a list right now. It might change when I actually see She Said tomorrow. But
Zoe belongs in here, and I'd really like to see her in here, but there is way too many people in this category. There's the 4 that everybody's talking about, and then there's the 5th one that we're trying to figure out who it is at this point. Speaking of that, go ahead.
I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, yeah. Top Hat says, Blanchett, Deadwyler, Robbie, Williams, and Yeoh. It's good to be on the winning team, Top Hat. Brian says, Ackie, Blanchett, Deadwyler, Williams, and Yeoh. Didn't change mine. Top Hat says, Goonies never die. Brian says, welcome to the Naomi train. And Josie says, Cate Blanchett, Deadwyler, Tang Wei, manifesting, Michelle Williams, and Michelle Yeoh. I also didn't change anything. My lineup continues to be Michelle Williams, Danielle Deadwyler, Margot Robbie, and Blanchett and Yeoh. Get used to that, because it's going to be like this the entire season. So sorry. I've admitted that it's going to happen, no matter if I want it to or not. I just have to deal with it, and you're just going to have to deal with my somber tone whenever it happens. Very much sarcasm coming from Owen this season.
Nominations, and when they miss, you are going to be cheering tie.
Oh my God! If that happens and Everything Everywhere All at Once crashed and burned, I would mark out to the highest of levels. But the chance of that happening at this point is the chances that American Hustle had to win anything that it was nominated for. Goonies is on TV right now, apparently, and Josie mentions that
It's
Zoe's
a sign. That's a Ki Kwan sign right there.
No, that's an Encino Man sign right there. It would be interesting if Zoe Saldana was nominated for Avatar. I don't want anybody nominated for Avatar, Josie. You make things win, then we'll make more movies, and I don't want that. James Cameron needs to be stopped. You take some 8 years to make a movie. It's just as bad as Disney trying to build a new roller coaster.
Oh yeah, forgive him. He has to find the groundbreaking technology in between movies.
Hi, Tron. Are you open yet? No, you're not. Top Hat says nothing matters, though, and remember that. Yes, except cold November rain.
It's hard to handle in it.
Best actor.
Cool. All right.
This will be fun.
I made a change in Best Actor, and I feel much more confident about it now than I did when we started this video.
Same.
I took out Song Kang-ho, but I kept everybody else.
Okay.
So I almost just read director.
Oh boy, that's next.
I have Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for Banshees, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nighy for Living. I feel like we've talked about After Sun so much in this video, I don't have to explain that. That's just, I feel like, where we are momentum-wise right now. And in this category that has not been giving us much to work with.
There's so many things that we could, since Ashley's gone. There's so many things.
I had to open my list to read that. If I had known he'd left, I would have read much slower.
There's so many names that could possibly end up on this actor lineup. And we'll get to Ashley when he returns, whenever that may be. Josie says, Sean Astin hosting or presenting with Pauly Shore. I'll take that at this point. So Fraser, Astin, and Shore doing like the nominees are at the Oscars. Yes, please. Josie says, that's what the Goonies on the TV. Exactly. Kismet, Josie, you know it. Brian says, Cruise, Farrell, Fraser, Hanks, and Nye. Josie says, Farrell, Fraser, Gabriel LaBelle. Wow, I'm not dying on this hill alone. Mescal and Park Hye-il. And Top Hat says, Butler, Cruise, Farrell, Fraser, Nye. Brian says, I took Jim Parsons out since there's no FYC for spoiler alert. Early reviews not good. Yeah, trailer looks kind of bland, honestly. That's coming out next week. It's coming out with Violent Night. I think it's coming out with Violent Night. Or it might be coming out with Empire like the week after. But I know it's coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Finally, the mic's working.
Top Hat says, quick, kids, while Ashley's gone, can you spot Wallace and Gromit curse the were-rabbit?
Oh, yeah. I'm more affected by French Connection 1 and 2, precisely.
I'm staring at Skyfall.
Well, you know, they're all there. Bar Spectre. Even Everything or Nothing's there. And the 3-disc edition of Casino Royale. Because I'm an idiot. No, to be honest, the 2-disc edition of Quantum of Solace is the idiot's. Anyway. So with my 5, one change. Park Hye-il moves out. I'm sticking with Song Kang-ho. Because I want somebody international in here. However, joining Kang-ho and Farrell for Banshees and Fraser for The Whale and Nighy for Living, because there's my hill. Paul Mescal for After Sun, because I want to stick it in eventually for 1 month. I don't think it's going to have the traction, but I love it too.
So I have had the same ride or die when it comes to my Hail Mary pass in this category pretty much since August. Everyone knows how much of a supporter I have been of the existence of Babylon, because I am the Damien Chazelle guy here, because I still won't admit that La La Land lost Best Picture. At the end of the day, I always had the thought process that Diego Calva is going to be the barrel of the gun that shoots out of nowhere that you're not expecting. To join, of course, my lineup of Colin Farrell, who in the just world is going to win this thing, like, hands down. Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Austin Butler for Elvis, and Tom Cruise for Top Gun Maverick. Because once again, I feel like even more confident about saying Cruise at this point, especially the re-release of the movie.
I've been seeing Cruise a lot lately, and while it's never something I would bet money on, I love how much I've seen it come up.
Oh, it makes me very happy. And another thing that makes me very happy is the fact, yeah, there is somebody that's going to be a non-American, unless you count North America. Because my 5th slot's going to go to Gabriel LaBelle. I'm going to go with Sammy Fabelman himself. He's got to do a lot. And honestly, I feel that if the Fabelmans can get the traction, I feel he's going to roll right with it. And he deserves it too. Just the way he has to deal with things in the movie, like all the various levels of emotion he has to go through, especially when he finds out things that he shouldn't have found out in the first place, which, again, I'm trying to be as low-key about what I'm saying because I don't want to give anything away. But yeah, he deserves it. And I would be very happy to see him get that 5th nomination. And it's not the only place I've seen it, because I'm starting to see his name pop up, and as in he's on the line. He's on the list now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear it.
He's getting more traction now with the movie coming out, more people seeing it. And just after watching it once, oh yeah, 100%. I have no problem with Gabriel Bell getting in. He's Canadian, so there you go. There's your person that's not American to get in. So I'm good with that. Josie says Ram Sharon for RRR. I know you really like that movie. Brian says the only place you won't see Cruz is at the Globes because he gave his awards back to them.
Yeah.
This is correct.
And be the same as well for Fraser for obvious reasons.
That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
I just want him to walk up with an award and just literally walk up and says Radmobile, put it down on the podium and leave. Linkovich Chamovsky is going to win, is going to be a Best Actor nominee. Life is good.
They don't, the Globes, they don't normally have like the previous winner from the year before from the opposite category present it, right? I'm trying to remember.
Not that I remember. I think it's usually pretty random.
Because I'm just trying to work out who the random person's going to be to pick up the award. Because Fraser's not showing up. That's the thing. Would Fraser even accept it? That'd be the intriguing thing.
I know. He said he's not going.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in a just world, this is Colin Farrell's award to win. So, I mean, we'll see if Fraser even gets that traction.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't. Even if he won it, I don't think he'd even want it. So
no,
he might just straight up reject it.
When we get to the end of the predictions, I'll try and run through all the stuff that's happening over December, at least in terms of nomination announcements and everything. Because I have all the notes ready.
Yeah, they're on my phone right now. And we're moving on to director.
All right, I made a decision.
Hate this category.
Once again, this is like original screenplay. Oh, and where I told you yesterday, I think I'm gonna make a switch out here, and yes. I knew exactly who my new choice was gonna be, so it happened this time.
Know what you're doing too.
Yes, I have Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Todd Field for Tar, Sarah Polley for Women Talking, and Spielberg for The Fabelmans. I took a bat to Babylon. I took a bat to Babylon's knees, and I don't feel bad about it at all.
I have first aid. It's okay.
I said, and this will tell you what I'm doing in the next category too. Kind of. I didn't get to go all in on this like I thought I was going to, but I still feel like it's an apt comparison anyway. We were talking at the beginning of the season, what's going to be this year's Nightmare Alley? The movie that like seems like it's going to be big, but then like kind of seems like it might drop off, but then it gets just enough tech nominations to get into picture. Kind of like, oh, so that was still here. Even though I did put it in screenplay, which Nightmare Alley did not make, I started wondering if that's going to be Babylon. Where Babylon's almost entirely below the line, but still manages picture anyway. To get into picture anyway, much like Nightmare Alley. Like I said, except for the fact that I had to put it in original screenplay. But once again, also, if I had just fucking thought of Triangle of Sadness before we started, I probably would have actually done that. So, yeah, and All Quiet on the Western Front was really surprisingly, like, it seemed like it was kind of an event when it came out. Like, I feel like when it hit Netflix, I heard everybody talking about it and how, like, harrowing and memorable it is. And how it's, like, probably the best adaptation of the book up to this point. So, yeah, I've been getting kind of getting closer and closer to All Quiet on the Western Front as it's gone on. Still haven't watched the fucking thing yet. I still need to do that. But yeah, I'm actually like getting ready to read the book. That's what I've been waiting on. Was I want to read the book first and then see how the other adaptations match up to it and go from there. But yeah, hopefully by the next time we do this, I will have actually seen it and could go all in on this even more so. But yeah, so that's what I did to Damien Chazelle.
I have the first aid kit. It's okay. Ashley.
I was afraid that he sounded pretty silent before he even said anything. It was like, I wonder if his sound's out again.
Can you hear us?
Eric O.
Eric O.
Todd Field for Todd. Daniels for Everything Everywhere. McDonough for Banshees. Sarah Polley for Women Talking. And Spielberg for Fabelmans. I think I've given up on an international director, at least this time around. And putting the Daniels in where they probably will be. I mean, it's hard to work out who I want to kick out because I don't want to kick out McDonough. I prefer to kick out Spielberg,
Yeah, I was gonna say
just to really make it like why he bothered.
By all means, everybody tell me if I'm underestimating McDonough.
Yes,
100%. But I think it's one where he could miss because I think the screenplay is probably better than direction.
Yeah, because that Three Billboards director snub really fucked with me to the point that I haven't even really been thinking about him when I know I probably should be after the fact.
Yeah,
because Banshees is really like high on the momentum meter.
Yes, it is. I'm happy to see that too.
And also with Three Billboards, I think the directing was just about on par with the screenplay. So that's why I'm a bit more. I can see McDonough possibly being left out here.
No,
I said possibly.
We're not willing that into existence. Brian's lineup: Kwan and Shiner, whatever. Todd Field, whatever. Joseph Kaczynski, Sarah Polley, and Steven Spielberg. Top Hat says Chazelle, whatever the Daniels. Who cares about Todd Field? Polley and Spielberg. Brian says just took Berger out. Top Hat says he Tanya Harding'd Babylon, allegedly.
Yes. Yeah, how appropriate. Mario Robbie's here.
Shane Stan. Tanya Harding, thank you very much. Anyway, Josie says Field, Park Chan-wook, Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness, Spielberg, and Charlotte Wells. Well, mine hasn't changed. So, deservingly so, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Martin McDonough for Banshees of Inisherin, and Damien Chazelle for Babylon. I don't know anything about Sarah Polley for Women Talking, and whatever, Steiner and Kwan, whatever.
Josephine adds as well, if there's no decision to leave or triangle, the list would be Field, McDonough, Spielberg, Polley, and Wells.
I think Madonna's getting into DGA, and that's going to be what he's going to. And I know it's happened before. But I think this year it's different because Banshees is a strong, strong movie that has a lot more going for her at this moment. Overall, I mean, Farrell and Gleason are contending to win at this point. Whether they do or not, it's inconsequential, but they're contending to win right now.
I don't think Farrell's above Fraser and Buzz right now.
I've seen more lately.
I do feel like I've heard consistently that Gleason is the front runner in supporting though.
That is something that's clear.
Unless Ke Kwan is ready to change that. He's already kind of stuck his foot in the door yesterday.
Yeah, but Gleason has these wonderful things called pruning shears that he can do magical things with, and he can just take that, just done the party.
Okay. AJ is confused. He'll realize. He'll realize comedy for two is still comedy.
Exactly.
I mean, I can just kind of imagine Brendan Gleeson like himself having them as well. So I was half lost. It's like wait, I don't know the reference.
Is that the inanimate fucking object? Is that the inanimate?
Yes. 1,000,000% yes. With a pint right beside it. Best picture.
Just quickly, Josephine mentions that Banshees is a feminist movie. That's what Phoebe Waller-Bridge adds to the table by McDonough's side. Wait, are you telling she ghost wrote it? Anyway, yes, the 10.
Well, I'm going to upset you, Owen,
I
but
know.
that's
Again, I told you before we started, no matter how much you knock it down, I can pick it right back up.
Well, here's the thing: is no, that's still here because remember, I'm saying it's Nightmare Alley just with a screenplay nomination.
Okay, I hope you're wrong, but go ahead.
But in the 10th slot has been messing with me.
Yeah,
and
same
so
here.
we're thinking the 10th slot it seems like it could potentially be a big movie. So the last time I had The Woman King in, and I've been saying before about how The Woman King could be one of those movies that has a lot of buzz, then drops off entirely, like it seems to have, but then like guilds would bring it back.
Yeah,
like, we could see it resurrected realistically.
Zero problems with this.
But then I was also thinking about like the time that we're going to be in the area we're going to be in, and then it's like the only thing about it is putting this movie in picture makes me question why I'm not also putting it in director. Because you would almost think if this movie gets in a picture, it would have to get into director.
God, I hope not.
But you know exactly where I'm going now.
It means I'm going to have to devote some time in a theater if that ends up happening. And please, God, don't will this into existence. Kill this movie dead before it happens.
All right. Since I think everybody's figured it out right now, I will go ahead and say my picture lineup is All Quiet on the Western Front, and then Avatar.
I hope not. God, I hope not.
And then Babylon, Banshees, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, She Said, Tar, Top Gun, Women Talking. Yeah, like we were talking about before about how in another circumstance, Top Gun might be it's the big movie that gets the 10th slot thing, but I like to think we're all under the impression Top Gun's a lot higher than that. So it doesn't even count as the blockbuster spot. I would hope not.
I wouldn't say top 5, but I would say the higher end on the bottom 10.
Yeah, I would not say Top Gun is like at the bottom.
Oh,
I would hope to God not. So yeah, that Avatar is the one I went. But you see what I'm talking about now, where it's like, if Avatar is that well liked, I really think I should consider putting Cameron in director.
Just don't do that. He doesn't need his ego does not need the boost.
But that's where I'm at right now. So
that's fair. Ashley,
I guess we'll find out with that film. I think the embargo's like a week and a half away. Oh no, I think the embargo is like right before it opens on the 14th.
Well, I'm going into it completely blind. If I'm forced to watch it because I hear the trailer, I just leave.
Because it's right here in December, and it's one of those movies where the people that are going to love it are going to love it unconditionally, and that's the kind of stuff that gets you into the picture lineup when there's this many slots.
I'd just like to see a trailer where it doesn't look like Avatar 2009, please. We still don't know what Kate Winslet is, and if she's even in the film.
She was in the movie. Continue.
So, I had a somewhat bloodbath. Babylon Empire of Night gone. So I now have as my 10 Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fabelmans, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, She Said, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, The Whale, The Woman King, and Women Talking.
Love the love for The Woman King. I wish I had room for it in my lineup.
I think it's strong enough that it probably can make it in here, despite missing stuff. It could certainly get a lot of love in the text, certainly with cinematography and costume and stuff.
Yeah, it's got a lot more award options.
Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
All right. Let's see. To finish chat off here, Brian's Best Picture lineup: Babylon, Banshees, Everything, Fabelmans, Pinocchio, Tar, Till, Top Gun. I love the love for Till, by the way. I wish that would happen. The Whale and Women Talking. Brian says it all depends on what Cameron has to say. What's the matter? He has to say.
I mean,
Gabriel says, Avatar, Babylon, Banshees, everything. Fableman, she said Tar. Top Gun, The Whale, Women Talking. Top Hat says, like how some people are predicting Pinocchio for picture. I don't think it'll happen, but it would be neat. Indeed.
And since it got brought up, I also kind of toyed a little bit with the idea of putting Till in that 10th spot, but I didn't.
God, I'd love that.
It was there.
I would love that, and honestly, if that ends up happening, I would rejoice. I'm not going to have it in my lineup because I can't, but I mean, that movie's so good that anything it gets, I'm going to be very happy with. And I, again, never thought I'd say that. Josie says, After Sun, Banshees, Decision to Leave, Everything, The Fablemans, Pinocchio, Tar, Triangle of Sadness, Top Gun, and Women Talking. And if no Decision to Leave and Triangle, then Avatar and The Whale. Sounds like a movie. Don't Tell James Cameron. Somewhat topical, but you're about a month behind, Brian, or ahead, I guess I'd say in this case. Animated feature, Ernest and Celestine 2, Pinocchio, Marcel, Puss in Boots, and Turning Red. Okay. Well, there's been a joke on here that I've used for the longest time, and have you noticed, as we talked about Birdman earlier, Inarritu has disappeared from my lineup, so no more Bardo! I will not say that again on this network unless it gets brought up in actual nominations, which I don't think that's going to happen, because this is a path of a year.
What about you?
And I bumped The Whale out of picture. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I've never had this feeling of it being a picture in the running. It's
well, what I replaced it with is something that is starting to get more traction, and I think that with a top 8 nomination and some tech awards, it's just the recipe it needs to get in a picture. My replacement for The Whale is Elvis.
Okay.
In another world, maybe Lerman would get nominated, but he seems very divisive when it comes to the Academy. So needless to say, not going that route.
I did tell you, based on an interview she did very recently to promote the English, you better hope Blunt's a voter. I honestly don't know if she is or not.
I do.
But she fucking loved Elvis, is all I know.
I watched that in one of those, not really an IMAX, well, kind of an IMAX screen somewhat, and I just thought that movie just popped so well. It's like I cannot wait to see Moulin Rouge when it gets its Fathom event, when I can watch it in true color and the biggest screen possible. That's gonna be amazing. Best Picture. That's the only changes I made because Bardo got replaced by She Said. I'm very happy that She Said's in my lineup because it deserves to be there. And it joins Babylon, Banshees, The Fablemans, Top Gun Maverick, Glass Onion, and Women Talking, Everyone Everywhere All at Once, and Tar.
You didn't have She Said before?
I didn't, no. I couldn't put it in there yet because I had that idea that Bardo was going to do something. And since you've got movies like She Said and Women Talking, we always have the conversation that always ends up being null and void. Will they cancel each other out? I mean, with 2 nominees in both categories, I mean, it's possible, but I don't necessarily think it's probable. So, I mean, I always do the whole, why not both? Why not both?
So in terms of the docket for what's coming up this month, in terms of order, the Satellite Awards are getting announced Thursday, because they're now back at their sort of usual time, being in the award season. It's worth keeping an eye on that. And then I think it's all going crazy on the 12th. PGA announced their, I think, documentary nominees ahead of the January 12th announcement of the animated feature and the main feature film stuff. but that's also the date for the Globes nominations, and then and then the critics. Okay, so the critics TV is December 6th, but the critics movie stuff, the one we want to full pay attention to, is December 14th. But yeah, so both forms of the critics, part of the DGA, or sorry, part of the PGA, and the Globes of note to us is what's coming up. But I will pay attention to the satellites. Just how previously I haven't paid too much attention to Gotham, but now that they actually want me to pay attention to it. Just going back into chat, Bryce says, Owen, after seeing it, do you think that Michelle Williams should be leading or supporting?
Oh, there is a argument to be made for both, honestly. She is definitely leading, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see in another world where she might be... No, honestly, no, there's no way. She's definitely leading. Because she's in pretty much the entire movie.
Is she more or less leading than Mulligan?
They're about even.
Josephine says, "Has a great time chatting. Gonna take a shower. Remember to keep positive and visualize and intend the best. Thought create reality." Bry also says he's going to do individual reactions to the Globe nominations, like Owen reacting to the BAFTAs last season.
Fun.
Oh,
dear God. Ashley, come back.
I don't want to have to buy a new mic, but this is getting bad. Then again, if I buy a new mic and the same problem happens, fuck.
Usually it's just... So this is a new problem, so there you go.
In terms of the problem with doing live reactions, how we are on here and whatever, is the problem is it's gonna be really fucking early in the morning, and it's in the middle of my afternoon, which is normally my busier time than it is now when we do the streams, which is my late night and early to sort of standard evening for East Coast and whatever. So I want to say we'll probably just do it more often than not, like what we did with the actual reacting maybe the day after or whatever. So, or maybe the weekend after, depending on how schedules are, because with the Globes being the 12th, which is Monday, again, if we're doing I just realised if we're doing a podcast then anyway, we're gonna have to do 2 in one day.
Oh, and was that a reaction to them being on a Monday?
No, because I don't have anything else to do on a Monday, but because there's nothing important on Mondays. Those are Wednesdays. But no, I was looking at the schedule and everything like that.
Oh, sorry, PGA
I don't
December
start.
12th. Oh no, the Globes are December 12th. Sorry, my bad. And then with the other ones being the 14th, which would be a Wednesday, that's probably not going to happen because I know what that means. And Thursday might be busy enough anyway, so we might just do that maybe in the Monday slot if that's easier for Owen's schedule.
We'll figure it out later. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We got to get 1 month at a time.
Top Hat says, "Did I make a deal with Ursula or something?" No. It's as I say, it's either the computer being weird, which considering how everything freezed up earlier, who the fuck knows, or the Guitar Hero mic that I got for my PS2 10 years ago is finally wanting to give up the ghost every once in a while. Then again, when I normally do calls that aren't doing this, it doesn't have this problem. So I have no fucking clue. Maybe it can't cope with Discord having the microphone feed and OBS having it, and it just goes crazy. Oh, Bryce says not on live streams, but like AJ did his own reaction to the Oscar nominations. Oh, okay. I mean, if they do video nominations for it, I guess. One thing that did, I'll briefly mention here, they did mention on the nominations for the Spirits, and that watch it here on like February or whatever. Which, considering how I was watching the YouTube feed, I guess implies that it isn't going to be on any of the sort of network, you know, the cable stations or whatever, and they're just going to put it on YouTube this year. Which means I might actually get to watch the fucking thing. Which, if it means Aftersun gets loads of nominations and wins, I approve. I think that's everything in chat. So, yes, that's all for the marathon that was this weekend / week. We'll be back in a couple of weeks for Pop the Question and Leave It to Heaven, which will be a week in and around the 12th of December. Until then, you got plenty of content to deal with from myself, Owen, and AJ. The usual stuff, your sip and snack stashes, voice ability, movie reviews, versus all that good stuff. Maybe the Christmas special that is 6 days of more Emily Blunt love from AJ.
Yeah, speaking bluntly is for the English.
It'll certainly be before Christmas because I won't be able to hold out that long.
Okay.
I'm shocked I've held out this long.
No, but I'm saying the videos go up maybe around then. Around the Festivus season.
No.
That's a no.
As possible. We need to get caught up.
In terms of where you can find us, updates on the channel can be found through the Popcast Network Twitter and the Sir Owen Disney Twitter. I can be found at Ash Is My Name UK. AJ is not available on those medias that are social. He was that scared by the social network. Then again, with everything happening right now, maybe it's good that he isn't on Twitter.
Yeah, my disconnect to this drama makes me happy.
Fair.
And just like Keith Richards is also disconnected and cannot be killed by conventional weapons. Thanks to Josephine, to Bry, to Top Hat, and I guess retroactively Spencer for all the fun and games that we had earlier on with those things, which, as you heard, will get morphed into the Q&A sessions to fill that out, so we don't fill this out too much. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls. Stream Funeral Grey. What's the thing coming at midday? Or midnight?
So F About It comes out, music video that's going to be live at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And can't wait for, oh God, new album coming out. So excited. Intellectual Property coming out next year. It's going to be amazing. This is going to be the year of water parks, mark my words.
So until tomorrow, boys and girls, the Wall of Mark.